My purpose here, so I've been told, is to change your life. I have 18 minutes. And I think this must be a little bit like what Houdini felt when he was on stage and he would have his hands shackled, have his legs shackled, prepared to be lowered upside down into a vat of water where everyone could watch and see whether he actually was able to break himself free in the allotted time or if he would drown. So I'm going to attempt to break out of my shackles, to do something meaningful, to do it in 18 minutes. And pay attention, because I'm only going to do this trick once. The other day, I was reading to my 7-year-old, and we couldn't find the cat in the hat. So I persuaded him that the wasteland was pretty much the same thing. And I don't know if it's a credit to Eliot or Dr. Seuss that he really didn't have an issue with that. It did pretty much seem like the same thing to him. He was a little disappointed that there were no illustrations. Other than that, it went quite well. And I told him that I actually teach this poem to a room full of 400 people, which is much the size of his school. And he was astonished, and he said, "Well, why would people do that?" And I said, "Well, it's hard to say, but it's a breadth requirement." And that, see, I'm still humble. And he looked at me with complete understanding, and he nodded his head, and he said, yeah, you mean if they don't read this poem, they can't breathe. And I said, exactly. I said, this is a breath requirement. People who don't come to my class and they don't read this poem, they suffocate. And, the number one cause in our time of feeling constantly out of breath is our unexamined relationship to time. Great poetry, because it refuses to make use of time, is something we need to read for precisely that reason. Oscar Wilde said all art is useless, and thank goodness.